Hi guys. Hi guys. Ugh. Hello there. Hi guys. I haven't said that for years. And no, I'm not on painkillers today. I'm just in pain. It's really hot today. Sun's out, guns out, and all the rest. Apologies. Yes, today we're talking about not a video that I'm watching on YouTube. We're talking about elite infantry. Oh god, it's going well so far. God, this heat just gets to my brain is quite a sensitive instrument. I've come to realise over the years. It often doesn't do what I want. Okay, so actually, weirdly, I've done another video on core infantry. There's a lot of elite infantry. There's a lot of core infantry available. There's actually not so much elite infantry, and not every faction has what you'd call elite infantry, which is an interesting design choice from Games Workshop, but hey ho. So let's start off with the Battle Pilgrims. Now, they're quite good. They fulfill a role. The rules aren't clear as to exactly what they're supposed to do, and I'll show you why in a sec. Right, so here's the rules. Battle Pilgrims and Grail Reliquary. So they're 8 points, which is cheap for elite infantry. In fact, it's cheap for quite a lot of core infantry too. They're allowed this 65-point Grail Reliquary, which is essentially 6 wounds with six attacks. That it functions like a standard bearer and a musician, but no champion. So there's no challenges, there's no champion for a Battle Pilgrims unit. Obviously 6 times 8 is 48, so you're paying an extra 17 points for whatever the Grail Reliquary does. Now the Grail Reliquary has Blessings of the Lady, but the Battle Pilgrims do not. So now, the way I suspect it's supposed to work is if you've got a reliquary, then the whole unit gets blessings. But rules as written, it's just the reliquary. So if you're attacking the battle, so the reliquary comes off last. And it gives the unit immune psychology and unbreakable as long as the reliquary model itself is within 12 inches of a friendly Grail Vow non-fleeing unit. So, you kind of have to take a little unit of like 3 Grail Knights to kind of keep near them in order that they become immune psychology and unbreakable. And in that case, they're kind of worth it, but they don't get the blessing across the whole unit. Rules as written at the moment. And you need a character or a unit with a Grail Vow to make a Grail Reliquary. They're normally special choice for normal Bretonia. I think they're core for Errantry Crusade as well, or 0-1 core in Errantry Crusade. So they're okay. They hate everybody, which is useful because their weapon skill 2 means they're often hitting on 5s. And their levies, peasantry. They've got the stubborn rule inbuilt, which is actually okay for 8 points. And they have light armor and shields. It would just be nice if the whole unit got the blessings if it had a reliquary, which I'm pretty sure is what they meant for it to be, but again, rules as written, not. If that were the case, I would say they would be A tier. However, because of that limitation, I think probably B tier, if not C tier. Again, we'll review this later. I'm going to put them top of C for now, and then we'll have a look at them again later. Then we've got bad guys. We've got Bestigors. Now, Bestigors are... you don't actually see them very lot in army lists, and I think that's because they oh, come on. So if you look at the army composition, they are core if, so I haven't put them as core, I've put them down as elite because they're normally in special. They're core if general is a beast lord or war gore, but Doom Bull is normally the strat at the moment. Beast lords and war gores are, they're not really necessary. And Bestigors are good, but they have several downsides. Firstly, they're 13 points. They've got an okay stat line. They've got heavy armor, and you can take... Oh, I thought you could take shields. You can't take shields, so 5 up's the best. That even further limited. They have Blood Rage and Primal Fury, so they take a leadership test. Again, they've got Warband. They don't have Horde, but the Gauchon's leadership 8. So essentially, as long as they've got 2 ranks in combat, they take a leadership test at leadership 10. And if successful, they get to, what is it, reroll hits or something. It's pretty good, whatever it is. Primal Fury. Reroll to hit rolls of 1. And also, if you roll a double for that leadership test, they get Blood Rage, so they become frenzied. So there's a 1 in 6. No, there isn't. There's a 1 in 5. There's a 5 in 36, nearly a 1 in 6 chance that they will become frenzied in combat. You know, which is all right. Obviously, 5 because a 6 and a 6 would fail. So, despite... Actually, does it say that? Does it say it has to be successful? Unit passes with a natural double. Yeah. Plus, also, if they've lost ranks, there's only a 4 in 36, which is 1 in 9 chance of passing. They've got a, champion's got an extra attack. They can take a magic standard up to 50 points, which is all right. Gauchons can take magic items and mutations. The mutation that you want really is Slug Skin for -1 to hit. So the rest are... The sub 25 ones are like all right, but yeah. I mean, I guess Armored Hide 1 might be useful to give it like a 4, give the Gauchon like a 4-up save. I don't know. And it can't take a shield, so it can't have a magic shield to make that even better. Because it can't. Shield isn't a normal option for it. They have great weapons. So they do slap hard. And, Initiative 4 isn't that good. So, if they do get a charge off. They don't have any of the other cool Beastman stuff, though, so they don't move through cover. They're just... Movement 5 is pretty quick for heavy infantry. But that aside, there's not really an awful lot going for them. They're okay. And, seen compared... Yeah, I think I'm going to put them B. I think Bestigor, they're okay. They're okay. Grail Pilgrims are good. They're okay. Then we've got, I think they're Blackards, or Dark Elf Blackguard. But Blackguard's a very old English word, and it's basically a concatenation, or a shoving together, of 2 words. So a concatenation is a shoving together of 2 words. So it's a concatenation of Blackguard. So Blackguard is the proper pronunciation of these chaps. And possibly occasional chapettes. Anyway, so we have the Blackguard. They have a Tower Master. They are quite expensive at 15 points. They've got Weapon Skill 5, which is good. Puts them on par with the Chaos Warrior. Movement 5 makes them a bit faster. They're only Strength 3, though. Obviously, they're Toughness 3 because they're Elves. They have full plate armor, which is makes them pretty tanky. So with their Dread Halberds, which give them Strength +1 and AP 1 and Armor Bane 1 and Fighting Extra rank, which, that's pretty decent ability. If you've got, say, 20 of them in a block of like a 5x4, for instance, that's 10 of them that can fight with Strength 4, AP 1, Weapon Skill 5. Initiative 5, they've got Elven Reflexes, it's called, so they're Initiative 6 in the first round of combat. So, if you're charging them with great weapons, they're going to hit you first with some pretty decent attacks. They can have Drilled, which, Drilled is so good, you should obviously take it. It's pretty much an auto-include. And they can have a Magic Standard worth up to 100 points. It's a pity none of the banners they can have are particularly good, but still, they can have a Magic Standard up to 100 points, which makes them, like, elite, very elite infantry. They are good, but they're... You're not going to see them very often in lists because there are better infantry, but they are just good. I think they're better than Battle Pilgrims. You get 2 Battle Pilgrims for each one of these, and I guess that's that's okay. They're probably better than Battle Pilgrims, but not terrifically. Then we've got Black Hawks, which I'm going to put as A tier for now. I'll put them as S tier for core infantry. They are core and special, so I'm going to put them as A tier for now. We talked about them in the core infantry vid. They're very good. They've got tons of cool stuff. They save points on upgrades because they've got motley crew, which means you basically need to give 12 of them, out of 20, for instance, you need to give 12 of them shields and 8 of them great weapons, and that kind of maximises the benefits both over a battle. So yeah. Then you got Chosen Warriors. Now these I'm just looking through and just thinking what I am going to give S tier to, because we're doing a tier listing of all of these basically versus each other, but also how they fit in on the tabletop as well. So I guess Chosen are possibly S tier out of all the elite stuff. I can't think of anything much better, to be honest. It could be a points thing though, because they are quite expensive. I think, hell, yeah. Anyway, let's work our way through. So Warriors of Chaos, Infantry, Chaos Chosen, are they quite expensive. So there's 17 points. Obviously you want full plate, so 19. Obviously you want drilled, so 20, and obviously you want shield, so 21. So they're already very expensive. However, for that you get a toughness 4 model with a 3-up save, with 2 attacks base, initiative 4, weapon skill 5. So if you get charged, so this is why I say initiative 4 is like a cut-off point, because if you get charged with great weapons, you're striking simultaneously. 5 is great because it means you're not. You can make them initiative 5 by giving them Slanesh, so they're initiative 5 in the first round of combat, which is great. They've got ensorcelled weapons anyway, so they're AP1 magical just as hand weapons. So you can give them great weapons, which you lose a point of save. Same with all the upgrades, really. So they can have another attack, which loses magical and -1, because additional hand weapon doesn't count as ensorcelled. Neither does great weapon or halberd. So additional hand weapon is, I would argue, a downgrade, because you lose the AP and you lose the magic. Magic's not 100% useful, but it can be. Great weapons, again, I see that as it's possibly an upgrade, but maybe not. I mean, it's great weapons and hand weapons, so you can choose. It depends what what's hitting you. Or you can give them halberds. Again, you just lose your shield, so you go to a 4-up save, which again is quite good. But then it's just +1 strength in combat for -1 to your save, which, is that good? I don't know. They can take a magic standard up to 100 points, of course. They are, super elite. The champion can take a little bit of magic items, not that much. But overall, they are just S tier because of what they do. Oh, and of course, they're stubborn. And they have a 6-up ward inbuilt as well. Sorry, I forgot about that. So 6-up ward inbuilt, along with all that other stuff, makes them just super tough, super survivable, super strong, good AP for like a standard infantry. Like they're all round brilliant. So they're definitely an S tier. Then, are these hammerers, or which they're hammerers, they're iron wasnots, they're them, and that's it. Long beards are there. Okay, cool. So let's do all the dwarf stuff, because dwarves, predominantly are an infantry artillery-based army. So they've obviously got some decent. That's chaos dwarves. They're the wrong type of dwarves for this purpose. Obviously, chaos dwarves are cool, but they're not dwarves. So we've got dwarf warriors. So again, if you look at the composition, if generalist king, longbeards can be core. So it's an if. So I've classed them as elite. So the first one really are longbeards. They're 12 points, decent weapon skill, decent strength, decent toughness, heavy armor shield. So they're only got a 4-up save is the best they can get to. You can give them drilled, which is good. They act as a reroll panic test stuff for units that are around them. So that ability is good on paper, but I'm not sure how you're going to use it. On the table, really. It limits where you're going to put them, really, if you want to try and maximise that. Although you could only take 5, and that's 60 points to reroll panic tests for sort of a flanking force, if that's how you want to play. Sorry if we've got bits all over me. I've been doing my workstation, as you can see there. See, it's taking shape. I've been sawing that up today. I hobbled back with a bit of wood, and my beleaguered wife helping me to carry it, and we sort of got it back, and I've cut it up and varnished it, and put some legs on, and now we're ready to move everything across. But I thought I'd do this video quick first, and then I'm going to have a bath. Anyway, so you can take standard runes up to 50, which is all right. The standard runes actually are pretty good, and 50 points is enough to do some good stuff. They're okay. I think that, yeah, they're okay. They're not brilliant. They're just okay. They're about on par with Bestigor, actually, to be honest, because they've got Longbeards have got loads of special rules, but Bestigor have got 2 more move. So you know, yeah, that seems about fair. Righty ho. Then we've got not Quarrelers and Thunderers. Come on, book. Do something sensible. Hammerers. Hammerers are like one of the best infantry units in the game. They're arguably too good, such that they don't really ever get to fight unless they're going to be beaten significantly, because you don't want to get in combat with them. And the reason why is because when they get charged, they are +1 initiative and +1 attack. So they go up to multiple attacks. They are... Get this, they have great hammers, which are one of those sort of great weapons where you don't strike last. Quite a few factions have these. High Elves have them as well. They're sort of special great weapons where you don't strike last. And they've got the great weapons with Armor Bane 2. So 6 is to wound, are basically AP 4, which is insane. They're magical attacks as well. So they're fantastic. And they've got that really cool rule that every single model can issue and accept challenges in the same manner as a character, as long as they've got a king or a thane in it. So you can really put like a thane, which is a battle standard bearer, in this unit and be pretty confident that that battle standard bearer is going to be safe, because they can just challenge out any big monstrous gribblies that can come along and kill it. So it's pretty good for that. They can take 75 standard runes, and to be honest, they've got some pretty good standard runes in the Dwarven roster. Hesitation being one of them. Where is it? Master Rune of Hesitation does not count as... So any unit charging does not count as having charged for the purpose of choosing which weapon to use or any special rules it may have. And then you could also, if you wanted to double down on the horribleness, you could also take a BSB with the Rune of Confusion to make the unit that charged them disordered, which means they don't get their initiative bonus, and Hesitation means they don't get like cavalry spears or lances or anything like that. So they can't use any like charge abilities. So, you know, they've got some pretty good runes for shutting down charges. They are so good though that if you did take that on a unit, it would quickly become quite expensive. Oh no, not Dwarf Warriors. No. It will become quite expensive, but they are like a small unit of 12 to 14 to go with a character. Absolutely. They've got all the cool rules as well, because they've got Shield Wall, they've got Stubborn, they've got Gromwell Weapons, which only affects hand weapons, gives them AP 1, I think, or something like that. Yeah, so they can have Drilled and Veteran as well. So Veteran is reroll all psychology tests. So you can tool them up. You can give them some shields as well. And of course, if you've got an Anvil of Doom, you can give them +1 to their save with the Anvil. So you can make them pretty tough. They are toughness 4, so they are very, very good. Hammerers, possibly S tier. They're probably a bit too good. They are definitely better than Black Orcs, but only by a whisker. It's a clear whisker, but it's not very but they're arguably too good, such that movement 3 is a pretty bad. It's a pretty big problem. Then finally, you've got Ironbreakers. Ironbreakers are the toughest of the toughest of the toughest. I say that they have a 6 at ward save against non-magical attacks. They have full plate and shields. They have 3 up save, basically. They have Gromwell armor and Gromwell weapons. I forget what Gromwell armor means. I'll just quickly have a check. Reroll any natural rolls of 1 when making an armor save. So that makes them arguably tougher than Chosen for some points less. Not many, but some points less. They don't have loads of attacks. They can. The champion can take an Ironbeard. May take Cinderblast bombs. Cinderblast bombs are really cool. 8-inch, strength 5, AP 1, flaming attacks, quick shot. It's a stand and shoot style thing, but you know, if you hit it, it's D6 plus 1 hits at strength 5 and AP 1, which can be pretty crucial. Actually, that can turn the tide. They're only BS3, but it does have quick shot. So, and do they have? Does it have dwarven? It doesn't have dwarf crafted. So you are just it is hitting on 5s. I mean, Cinderblast bombs are really good on an Iron Warden because he's ballistic skill 5, so he's going to be hitting on 3s. But still, 5s is pretty good. Cinderblast one's 15. Is it the same cost for both? I thought he could have. Oh yeah, he can take 15. Yeah, it's a much better upgrade. Why is it worth the same for both? God, Games Workshop, can you just write things properly for once? Like, it should just be 5 points for Ironbreakers because it hits a third of the time, whereas it should be, you know, it hits twice as frequently, so it should be half the price, so like 7 or 8 points, obviously. Anyway, whatever. You can give them drilled, which is great. Again, you would, which makes them 16 points. They are just, generally speaking, pretty tough. So 3-up save, reroll 1s, 6 at ward again, only against non-magical. So they're very good, they're very survivable, and to be that brick that just survives a charge, they're perfect at it. So I'm going to give them A tier. Oh, pardon me, I've got doing woodwork for a bit. You get bits of wood dust all in your lungs, so I'm going to be coughing up bits of sawdust for the next few days. But anyway, I do have a mask, but it doesn't bloody work, does it? Anyway. Right, so then with the final Dwarf Dowie unit is... Oh, I've done it again. Wrong Dowie. Is the Slayers. Now, you can take an expensive thing that's going to die very quickly, or an even more expensive thing that's going to die very quickly. They are toughness 4. They have no defences other than toughness, which is pretty bad. No ward save, no feel, no pain, nothing like this. Yeah. They are Slayers, which means they always wound on at least a 4-up. So when they get there, as long as they're against tougher stuff, they're pretty good. It is for that reason that additional hand weapons are, you know, pretty useful, because you get more attacks and, you know, you don't... They lose the AP, but still, more attacks is good. Giant Slayer... Sorry, hold on a second. Gross. Giant Slayers can all issue and accept challenges. Giant Slayers are effectively unit champions, but you... the difference being that you can upgrade the entire unit to be a unit champion. Not only for 7 points do they get an additional attack, they also get an additional strength, additional initiative, and an additional weapon skill. They are unbreakable, so you're paying a lot for those points. Yeah, and they do have Death Blow, which means that's under the Slayer character, I believe. Death Blow. Oh no, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just in the specials. Yeah. So when it dies in combat, the attacking unit takes a strength 3 hit with AP 1. So when they're in combat, they are... Oh, right. Gyrocopter. So when they are in combat, they are very good. However, getting there can be an issue. If you had an army of just Slayers, I think that might be quite cool. I think that's one of the sub-factions that's coming up in the new Dowie book. So I'll probably think better of them then. But at the moment, I think it's almost impossible that they can get their points back because they're so slow. Yeah, they are just so slow. People can just outmaneuver them, and they don't get drilled. So you can't do a triple march with them. Well, you can, but then you have to reform and, whatever. So, yeah, they're just not good. They're just not good at all at the moment, and it pains me because I love Slayers. I think they're the best thing in the Dowie roster, like character-wise, but just not very good. It's why I don't like dwarves in Warhammer Total War as well, because the Slayers are a bit naff, really. Dark Elf Executioners are next. Oh, finally. Got it. Right. Harganeth Executioners with a Dreichmaster. They have heavy armor. They have great weapons, sort of. They have sort of, yeah. So they have great weapons that are AP 1 instead of 2. Don't have any armor bane. However, they don't need it because they've got cleaving blow. So basically, cleaving blow is basically armor bane like 5. Armor bane 5, let's say. So, that's pretty decent. They are hitting you at strength 6, AP 1. AP 1's okay. Murderous only applies to hand weapons, so absolutely pointless because they don't have shields, so you'd never not use the Harganeth greatsword. They are veterans. They have, like I said, they've got this pointless murderous rule. Elven reflexes means they're hitting at initiative 6 in the first round of combat, which is okay. They can get drilled. It costs them 2 points for some reason. Other units it's normally 1, but this unit is 2. And they can take a magic banner and they can take magic items, but there's not a lot that they can really use. So they're, to be honest, they're just not very good, which is another. I really like the lore behind these guys. They're not really very good. I'm considering I put them behind Slayers actually. Oh, do I really want to do that? They're probably better than Slayers as far as heavy in. Yeah, well, I'll review that later, I think. I'm not happy with them being there. I think that's probably wrong, but we'll come back to it at the end and have a bit of a chat. Then we've got Flagellants. Whatever they're called. Here they are. Now, you can put a priest in them and make them do cool stuff. They've got Feel No Pain, which is a 6 at ward against non-magical attacks or 5 up against strength. It's basically a blessing against non-magical attacks. Driven into a frenzied euphoria by their hymns and prayers, blah, blah, blah. They have Flails, so they're strength 5 AP2 first round of combat, just AP2 subsequent rounds, which is alright. They have Hatred, everybody. They are unbreakable. They are impetuous. They don't have any armor. They're only toughness 3. And they're 13 points. So, rubbish. Absolute dog shit. Sorry, I don't like to swear on the channel, but absolute awful. Great Swords are next, on the other hand. Great Swords who are next, on the other hand, is the sentence I was trying to say, are quite a bit better. They start off with full plate armor, so they've got a decent save. They are only toughness 3, which is okay. They're humans, what do you expect? They're 11 points for a full-plated light human, which is pretty good. And they come with great weapons, obviously. They can have drilled, veteran, magic banner that aren't... Drilled cost them 2 points. Maybe drilled does cost everybody 2 points, and I just said that offhand and I'm not thinking. They are a regimental unit, so you can take 2 little detachments either side of them to stand and shoot or outflank or whatever if they get charged. And they are stubborn, so they're pretty decent at sticking around. Which actually, stubborn you can use quite well with a regimental unit. Again, Empire are for proper historical war gamers, because basically if you're an infantry and you get hit by a block of cavalry, you can fall back in good order, and if they decide not to charge because they want to charge in their turn to get their charge bonuses, then you go, okay, well then I'm going to bring my detachments in to outflank you, take out your flank bonuses, or stand and shoot and kill a few of you on the way in, or whatever. So, yeah, I think they're good. I don't think they're very good. I think they're good. So they go solid B tier. Yeah, not quite as good as them, but yeah, I'm happy with them there. In between those two, that makes sense. Are they? They are better than Bestigors. Yeah, full plate really makes a difference. I know Bestigors are toughness 4. So -1 to... These are -1 to wound compared with +1 to save, effectively. So, yeah. These are some Chaos Dwarves. And the Chaos Dwarves have possibly the best infantry in the game, the Infernal Ironsworn. They then have... Infernal Guard. And then they have the Infernal Ironsworn as their elite infantry. They have multiple attacks. Better strength? No, better weapon skill. That was it. So they get +1 weapon skill, +1 strength, and +1 attack, all for 8 points, which is not bad actually. You can give them great weapons or halberds. You can give them shields, so they get full plate and shields, which is pretty nice. They got black shard armor, which is like 5 at ward against flaming attacks. They got ensorcelled weapons, so full plate and shields is pretty good because they're AP1 magic. They got shield wall, stubborn, veteran. They're a regimental unit, so you can take a couple of detachments around there. They have the same ability as Longbeards, except for it only works for levies, so they're pretty good at, if you got like... I remember I rated the Hobgoblins quite highly because they're so cheap to sort of gum up the field. So actually having a unit of Ironsworn are pretty good, aren't they? They're good, yeah. They're like not as good as Ironbreakers, but yeah. They're more expensive though. They are slightly better. I think I'm going to put them at the top of good for now. Phoenix Guard. They're another interesting unit. There's a lot of these infantry units that are all pretty good, but then, in the overall meta, they're not really. So, did I get Creation? Yeah, I did. Good. Right. Phoenix Guard. Here we are. 16 points apiece. So, pretty reasonable for elite infantry. Erring on the expensive side, but they do have full plate, so that's pretty decent. Weapon skill 5, initiative 5, all good. 6 at ward against non-magical. Again, that's pretty decent. They cause fear, which is interesting for an infantry unit. They do have elven reflexes, so they're initiative 6 in the first round of combat. And they have blessings of Azurian. And veterans are good ability for re-rolling all your leadership checks. And blessings of Azurian is 5 at ward against flaming, which is, alright. So, I don't know where to put those, to be honest. I think... I feel like they're... I don't know, somewhere around here. Put them in the middle. Oh, they're better than Blackguards, aren't they? Aren't they? I think they are. Let's just do a bit of a comparison. So, Blackguard... 55433152 55433151. Oh no, it was 151. Leadership 9, 16 points, 15 points. They can be drilled for 16 points. Can they be drilled? No, they can be drilled for 17 points. Yeah. They've got a ward. Blackguards haven't. Yeah, they're better than Blackguards, definitely. Probably better than... They're probably better than Iron Wasnots as well. Right, next one is... Plague Monks. Ugh. I mean, bottom end of good, and I'm being generous, because I like Skaven. Oh, come on, where are you? Where are you? Where are you, you pesky? Here we go, Plague Monks, Plague Deacon. So they've got high move, they've got frenzy, which means they're immune to psychology until they're beaten in combat. They've got toughness 4, which is weird for rats. They don't have any armor, so they die quite easily. They're not cheap. 15 for what they are. They've just got hand weapons. They can take additional hand weapons. So great. 2 attacks at weapon skill 3, strength 3, no AP. That's going to do a lot, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, Horde and Warband, so they go up to leadership 8 when they lose combat, but maybe, I don't know. They're pretty terrible, aren't they? They're okay. I guess they're okay. Okay. Are they better than Executioners? Well, you get 2 of them per Executioner. I think the Executioners had minced them, though. I think I'm being down on Executioners and Slayers, actually. I'm going to do this. Putting the Executioners and Slayers up, and Skaven can go down there. Sorry, Skaven players. I love you all, but you're just not in a good spot. Dark Elves. Dark Elves have... is it Daughters? Yeah, okay. So they've got 2 units here, and we'll just do them both because they're both on the same page. You got Witch Elves and you got Sisters of Slaughter. Now, these all have just... If you're going to take a Daughters of Cain army, right, you need to take a Daughters of Cain army because you need quite a few thrones, because one of the prayers that you can do is a 5-up ward, and you absolutely need that because toughness 3, no armor. These are going to go down so quickly. They have no kind of inbuilt, whatever save. Sisters reduce the maximum rank bonus by 1 first round they're in combat, which is an interesting ability. Lash and Buckler, they do get Sisters do get an armor save of 6 up. But that's it. They've all got like Murderous, which is pointless, because it doesn't apply to the Lash and Buckler, which is AP 1, Armor Bane 1, fighting extra rank. Witch Elves only have 2 hand weapons, so they don't actually have a hand weapon, so they literally can't use the Murderous rule, right? It's so bad rule writing, and I really don't think this is what they meant, because anyway, Murderous, what that means is rerolls to wound of a natural 1, right? Which would make them all right. Only applies to a single non-magical hand weapon, right? A single non-magical hand weapon. If the model is using 2 hand weapons, this special rule ceases to apply. So it literally says that there. However, that's the only thing they've got. They don't have hand weapon and additional hand weapon, for instance. That's not what it says on their war scroll. It says they have 2 hand weapons. Look, literally says there, which is awful. So Sisters can choose to reroll wound rolls of 1, but then they lose a save, they lose an AP. Like, absolutely no reason to do that. So Murderous, pointless. Witch Elves do have poisoned attacks, which, they've got many attacks, got many hand weapons. It's all right. They've got Frenzy, so they're up to like 3 attacks, which with poisoned, that's good, but you need to get there, and like delivering them to combat is really, really difficult. Because movement 5, they don't have drilled, so you're essentially marching 10 until you're in range to charge, and then you probably get charged by some cavalry. Your front rank gets mown down, and then you break and run, and that's the end of you. So they are just pretty awful at the moment. It's such a pity because the models are fantastic. They're some of the best models Games Workshop's ever done. But they're sadly down here unless and until unless you take a dedicated army. And I think you kind of can, but then it becomes a bit rubbish because people are just going to cannon off or shoot off or target or whatever. Where's the throne? It's down here somewhere, isn't it? I think. No, wrong. Cauldron of Blood. Here we go. Blessings of Cain. Bound spell, power level 2. So you can give it a blood shield. So every friendly death hag. So every unit within its command range. So probably 9. I think is the death hag's leadership, or if it's the general, then that would make it an 18-inch command range, wouldn't it? But cleaving blow. So all of these things are good. Especially if you got 3 of them, because then you can pop all 3 of them off. But like that's a pretty imbalanced list and will just die so quickly. So, you know, they can be made good if you spend a lot of points on making them good, but then you spent a lot of points on making them good, and then they're only movement 5 infantry that don't have swift stride or anything. So they're just not gonna close the gap, really, do they? Are they? So they're both pretty bad, because you're going to struggle to get your points back, because you're just going to struggle to get to combat. Because, you know, unless you've got a terrible opponent who doesn't know that these are going to blend them when they get to combat, right? If you let these charge you, you are, you know, it's so your own fault. But, you know, if you don't, you're just going to walk through them, basically. So maybe sisters are okay. Witch elves are just terrible, though. They're the best type of terrible. Then we've got sword masters, which I instinctively want to put here, bottom of A tier, I think. And that's for a few reasons. So they are very, very good, but they are very, very flawed as well. Sword masters. Right, so they're initiative 6, so 7 on the charge, which is, you know, better than these. Initiative 7 on the charge means that essentially you're striking before anything with initiative 3 has charged you. So that includes quite a lot of, like, cavalry. You know, is initiative 3, like boy cavalry. You still get to strike first, which is amazing. Initiative 7 is really high. They are weapon skill 6, which is super elite. They only have heavy armor and toughness 3, so they do go down to concentrated fire. They can be given drilled, obviously, and they have cleaving blow, which, you know, is basically just armor bane. Doesn't work against monsters, but yeah, it's basically just armor bane 5 against non-monsters, effectively. So they've got deflect shots as well, so they've got 6+ ward against non-magical shooting, because they do sort of ting 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 ting, like that little mini Jedi sort of things. There's a limitation on what characters can join them, which isn't really much of a limitation, to be honest, because you probably want to put a mage with them to give them like ethereal and all the janky magey sort of stuff that you can do. So again, it's difficult to know where to place them. I think actually, that's a really big question, isn't it? Are they better than their contemporaries, their fellow elite high elf infantry? They're definitely better than executioners. I think the fighting extra rank does it. I think I'm going to put them up to there now, actually. I think they're going to swap over. Then we have Tomb Guard. I don't know why they're here. I think I must have missed them off the other list and then just put them in as Tomb Guard. Yes, they are normally... Yeah, I should have put them in core. Oh, well. Tomb Guard are actually, I think, A tier, to be honest. They've got loads of cool rules. They've got regen 6. They've got light armor and shields, which isn't the best. However, you can resurrect them. They're cheap enough that you can take a big block of like 30 of them, give them drilled and phalanx, which, you know, is basically shield wall but for undead. Kopesh means hand weapons are AP1, you know, and then they've got cleaving blows. So this is, you know, like I said, it's pretty much armor bane like 4 or 5, but doesn't affect monsters. So, you know, they are very good. They're, you know, they're probably going to get their points back one way or another. Yeah, they're pretty good. They're sort of... I think they're better than Imperial Greatswords. Not sure whether they're better than Blackards, but... don't know. These are all just my opinions. Like, you know, comment down below. More than happy to chat. As you can see from the other videos, like, if you've got a different opinion... let me know. The more opinions, the better. The more people have used them. I mean, I've not used a lot of this stuff, so I'm just spitballing, really. But War Dancers, I think, are okay. They are evasive, so they can essentially do a quick flee before, or a quick fall back in good order, sorry, before you shoot at them. When they get in combat, they can be really good. They can go to a 4-up ward save. They can go extra attacks, +1. They've got Furious Charge. Strike First is excellent. So even if they do get charged, they're a decent skirmish screen as long as you've got enough woods. It's the same with everything to do with Wood Elves, really. If there are enough woods on the table and you can use them properly, then you're going to do quite well with Wood Elves. And if there aren't, or you can't, then you're going to do quite badly. So that's kind of what they rely on. You can give them throwing weapons, but I guess BS4 might be worth it. They're only strength 3 though, so it's not really that good. They have Motley Crew, so you could have some of them with additional hand weapons and some of them with throwing spears. I don't know why you'd do that, but you could do, I guess. I'm not sure why that's there. Furious Charge is +1 attack on the charge, and they have move through cover, which is, all right. And of course, they're lone skirmishers, so they're -1 to hit with shooting. So again, if you put them in cover, they'd be -3 to hit, which is, it makes them very difficult to shoot as long as they're in cover. And the fact they're evasive means that if they're on the borderline between being at short range or long range, they can pop back to long range. So yeah, they're okay. Are they good? They're good if you're doing the Shadow Dancer build thing, but other than that, they're just okay. They're probably here. Yeah, they're okay. But if you do the Shadow Dancer thing, where essentially they're kind of, I've put that in another video, but yeah, look at some list reviews or some of my meta videos where Wood Elves have done quite well. I'm sure it'll come up again, so just keep watching. It takes about 10 minutes to explain how it works, though. And then we've got... actually, how long is this video? Where are we up to? 47 minutes. All right, we're nearly done, actually, so I might go back to it. I also, truth be told, can't quite remember how it works. I remember seeing it in an army list once and thinking, oh, that's pretty good. Yeah. But very situational. So, yeah. Anyway, White Lines of Crace. We had them on the page and then I moved them. So, they've got these Cracian Great Blades, right? Which are funny things. Armory of Ulthuan. They are normal great weapons with another AP. So they don't have AP2 and Armor Bane 1 like standard great weapons. They're just AP3. So they're slightly better than great weapons in that their AP is more reliable. An AP3 is absolutely not to be sniffed at. It's one of the reasons that hammerers are so good, because there's their AP2, Armor Bane 2, but also because quite often what happens is people take these bloody things, Armour of Anvil of Doom, and oh no, it wasn't that effect. Somebody managed to get them up to AP3 against me in the game, and I can't remember how now. Anyway, but AP3 is no joke as a sort of standard strength of an attack. It is this book. I'm just flapping. They're obviously not cavalry, are they? Dingbat. Bloody there. Right, 14 points. Again, it's quite cheap. They've got heavy armor and toughness 3 again, so they're not great. They've got defensively, however, they do have the Lion Cloak, which I think is +1 save against shooting. I think it's a bit like the Sea Dragon Cloak. Yeah, +1 against shooting. So that's good. Why do I keep doing that? Come on, there we go. So that's 4-up save against shooting. It's all right. It's basically full plate against shooting, heavy armor in combat, so that's okay. They're up to initiative 6 on the first round of combat. Obviously, they're King's Guard, so any model that's been joined by a general can issue and accept challenges in the same manner as a character. So that's a pretty cool and quite a useful rule. And they got Stubborn. Valor of the Ages is that weird reroll some panic tests ability. Yeah. I mean, they're okay. Which is a shame because I think out of them, you know, I love this kind of. I love the White Lion stuff. I love the lore and everything. It's almost as if somebody's gone through all the stuff that Dan really likes and made it rubbish. Or maybe it's because I want it to be better. I don't know. I think, yeah, they're on par with Battle Pilgrims, aren't they? Realistically, they're probably on par with Greats. They just can't take regiments. They can't take detachments, sorry. So I think the regimental unit keeps them there and them there. But they are probably better than Battle Pilgrims. Because Battle Pilgrims, you need to have some Grail Knights around them. And Grail Knights are hella expensive. So, you know. Hella expensive. Where is this lexicon coming from? I want to know. I don't know. I've gone all hippie. I'm battling weird intrusive thoughts at the moment. So, right. Wood Elves. Wood Elves. Moving on. Wood Elves have, what are they called? These things. Wildwood Rangers. They have great weapons that don't strike last. If they're in contact with an enemy model that causes fear or terror, they get +1 attacks and multiple wounds too. So they're really good against undead and ogres. Ogres especially, absolutely blend them because their initiative, they're going to be going first because they're initiative 5 in the first round of combat. Loads of ogres have great weapons, so they're going to absolutely blend them. They can take shields and light armor, which makes them the heaviest armored thing in the Wood Elf roster at a massive 5+ armor save. Apart from dragons, of course, but you know, it's different. And then they've got these, like I said, these non-strike last great weapons that they can't really use in combat. The magic stat, you know, they are quite expensive for what they are. Leadership 9's no joke. I mean, that's really, really useful in terms of their sort of overall reliability. They have immune to psychology, yeah, but they don't have veterans, so which they don't need because they're immune to psychology. And in terms of what can you really take magic item wise, magic standard, fear, yeah, they don't care about that. Vanguard, better off on Wild Riders. +1 combat, no, War Banner's better because it's only 5 point more for it being guaranteed. And ignore cover. They don't shoot, so all their banners are pointless. So, you know, they're alright. They're okay. Actually, no, they're not. They're pretty bad. This rule is cool, but you've got to work your arse off to get your points back with them. So they go down here. Probably worse than them. Yeah. So actually, I'm pretty down on the old Elite Infantry, really, aren't I? Because there's only like 2 S tier units, only 3 A tier units. Maybe Swordmasters ought to be A tier as well. I said I'd have a bit of a chat at the end about it. I think Swordmasters are A tier. And are these really much worse than them? No, because they need to get down there because they're... Maybe I'm being down on the War Dancers because I think there's utility for them. I think you know, you got a 50% chance of getting your points back with them. I think, like I said in other tier videos, you're almost guaranteed to get your points back. You know, no matter what, your opponent's going to have to be very good to shut them down and stop them getting their points back. They're going to have to put in some significant work to not lose points to these. These, you know, a good opponent. An excellent opponent doesn't have to work that hard to stop giving you points for these. These are, you know, B tier is like, you know, a good opponent can outmaneuver them or counteract them or whatever and stop you getting points with them. C tier is like, you know, you're going to have to work pretty hard to get your points back. And D tier is like, it's almost impossible that you're going to get your points back with these things. Like, you're gonna have to work your arse off to, you know, to get anywhere with them. That's kind of how I kind of rate them. So it's like, you know, bad, okay, good, very good, excellent. It's that kind of thing. So yeah, that, I don't know. You just don't see them. Maybe it's just people don't have the models. I don't know. I think I'm just going to leave it there, to be honest, because I'm pretty happy with that. The one I'm really not happy with is it's Tomb Guard. I think they're better than that, but I don't know why. I think it's just because they're cheap and resurrectable, capable of being resurrected. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just the light armor, you know. To me, elite infantry is like heavy armored, you know, whatever, or stuff that does tons of damage, but proper glass cannon territory. But to me, like, I've really rated the glass cannons very far down. Like, you know, this one, and this one are all glass cannons. Like, can do a lot of damage, but, you know, and this one actually. Actually, in fact, all the bad ones are glass cannon units, aren't they? There's a pattern emerging here. But I think it's just after having played a few games and how dominant Swift Stride and Cavalry and stuff are being at the moment, if you can't get your charge off, your glass cannons are worthless because you can't get the charge off. And so you can't use their offensive abilities. Citizen Witch Elves are a bit different because they have strikes first, which I think will catch some people out, perhaps. But then again, you really should have something with impact hits in your list, or something that can tank loads of poisoned attacks, or just some shooting, which will just blend them and destroy them. So anyway, I am going to stop recording now. If you've liked the video, then there's a button for that. If you have watched this far through, I'd hope you'd consider subscribing to the channel if you think that I've deserved it, and if you haven't, please give me another chance on the next vid. I need to do the stats from... Oh no, I'm recording this well in advance, aren't I? This is probably going to go out... I'm recording this on Tuesday, I think. It's probably going to go out on Sunday. Probably this one. So... yeah, I'm just thinking I haven't done the stats show for this week, but, you know, whatever. Better things to do. Work's just gone nuts over the last few days, really. Just loads of stuff going wrong, like people trying to get their money out of pensions and like providers just being ridiculously unreasonable with their sort of information requirements and stuff. And it's just like, it's not your money, it's the client's money. Get them their money. Like, why is it feel, oh, we've noticed that... I don't care about I've noticed, but just send them the bloody money. We can sort out paperwork later, obviously. Anyway, but, you know, we've got a deadline. Anyway, that's me done, I think, for this evening. I'm pretty tired. It's my first day without any painkillers at all, which is pretty good, and the knee's getting better, so hopefully I can compete in my next strongman comp. So anyway, toodaloo.